In my previous discussion about all the typography features that are available to you in Adobe Illustrator, one of those features was envelopes. They're a really cool way to experiment with type distortion. So I want to challenge you to do even more of those. So what I'm going to do here is go to File and Open. And on my desktop, I will find my Illustrator Chapter 8, Folder 8.2, and the first file that I have right here is envelopes demo do not turn in. Okay, when you go to open that, you're going to get an error message. Could not find the linked file, my reference to the doors poster, so just click ignore. And if you have a broken link, like this file does, the link that I wanted to show you will now be kind of blurry. But we can still read all the types, so that's no big deal. The whole idea of envelopes is distorted type. And 1960s psychedelic rock posters are a perfect example of distortions of type. So I want to try to replicate this kind of a look. So I have my reference here. You can see it right there on your layers, original reference poster. And then I tried to recreate something as close to that as possible. So I'm going to take all these panels right here, click the double arrowhead to collapse them. That way I can move this over. And you can see right here, green background copy. I just made all the background there, the bird and the person and the green wall, basically all the artwork. Then I have this little line, Bill Graham presents, got that little line there. And then all the wording. Here's how you approach a distortion, an envelope poster. Every word is its own. Okay, unless you want a block of words to all kind of go together, then you could keep them as one big block. But you'll notice right here, the word the would sit by itself. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only would sit by itself. So what I did is I created a shape for each word. I created a shape for this block of words. I created a shape just to distort the letter Y as they have right down here. And then a shape right here for Yardbirds. A shape right here for plus all week, because that's all one little line of text right there. A shape for the word James. A shape for COTTO. You can see how the N is dramatically distorted. So I created a shape just for the letter N. Okay, each word gets its own shape. That's the secret. The other trick is I would go with more like simple bent rectangles. That definitely helps things out. Then once you have all your type and you have your shapes, you could do all the shapes at once like I've done here. Or in a minute, I'll show you how to do it, kind of work as you go, because you don't want to spend all your time only to find out at the end that your shapes weren't drawn right. Okay, so for here, like I said, do not turn in. I'm just showing you how it works. So what I want to do is select a shape, and you want to make sure that the shape is at the top of the stacking order. So I will go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Then your shape has to be drawn on the same layer as your type. Okay, that's why all my other layers are locked. I click on a shape, shift click the word, and then I go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object. I'll click outside. I can still read that. That looks pretty good. Now I'll click on the next shape. Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Shift click. and then I do it again. Object, envelope, make with top object. I'll click outside. Then I'm going to click on this shape. Object, arrange, bring to front. Shift click just the letter Y for this long Y. Object, envelope, make with top object. It's not going to be exactly the same because we don't have that same font, but you get the idea. I'm distorting a Y. I'm going to click on this shape right here. Object, arrange, bring to front. Shift click, object, envelope, make with top object. Okay, and as you can start to see, this is why you want to do it kind of word by word. I'm having a few legibility problems, especially with the letter A right here in the word Yardbirds. Okay, so if that happens, you have to take your white arrow, click right on the edge of that shape, and it looks like, let's see here, that point, I'm not sure if that's an extra point. Yes, it is. Okay, so this direction line has to come back to the right, and I'm still getting a messed up A right here. So let's see if I can pull this back out. Okay, I'm going to click right here. Let's see if I can delete that. Nope, that was an original corner. All right, let's pull this direction line out. Okay, that, for some reason, this distorted shape really messed up the A. There is no fixing that, so I'm going to show you a fix in a minute. Okay, sometimes the shapes that you draw, they will distort your type, and then you've got a problem you have to fix. So I'm going to click on each one of these, or I'll hold shift and shift click, and then I'll shift and drag through all the rest of these shapes. Get all these shapes. Excuse me. Bless me. My goodness. All right. Object, arrange, bring to front. We'll just do them all at once. Now I click, shift click, and we'll keep doing all my envelopes. Click, shift click, do another envelope. And I'm going to stop. Look how the word plus got all messed up again. So that's why you want to do them kind of line by line. So again, I take my white arrow, click right on the edge of that shape. And this point right here is the one that Illustrator wants to be the new corner for some stupid reason. So again, I take my original, drag it out of the way, take this new corner, put it back where it should be. I'll take the direction line and lift it up. I click on my old original corner and delete it. Now I click on the edge, pull the direction line down, and that pulls the letter down. Plus all week. Simple fix to my typography. You can see the word James. The J got squished right in here. So if I pull this direction line to the right, the J will come out to the right. There we go. So you can easily fix those if you have your white arrow. Now I'm going to click right here. Shift click, we'll do a couple more. Top object, click, shift click, object, envelope, top object, cotton, because the N was distorted. Click, shift click, do another. Okay, here's another one that got messed up. The word blues is kind of wrapping over itself. So I'm going to click outside. Click on the edge, and it looks like that is the new corner that Illustrator wants. Okay, I don't know why it keeps ignoring my corners, but you have to do what Illustrator wants you to do. Take the original corner, drag it out of the way. Take this one, pull it back. Take the original corner, now delete it. Now I can read. But I got a little bump here, so I'm going to click, and I'm going to pull this down. So that cleans up the letters. Looks like I have the same thing right over here. Okay, if I click here, this is the new corner, not the one that I drew. So I'll pull that way out, move this new corner over, click on my original corner right there. Oops, I want to get this. Let's click there first, then click there. Okay, I can't click that. That's because of the stacking order. So I have to click on this and go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Now when I click with my white arrow, I'll click outside. Now I can click on that edge and delete it. Now I can read my text. So we'll just take this and pull this direction line up, and that cleans up everything. The blues band, James Cotton Blues Band. Okay, so that's the main idea. I'm not going to do this whole poster, but you can see what I've done. I have my original reference. I drew my artwork on its own layer. I have my own line of type that I'm not going to distort. And then all your shapes and all your words have to be on the same layer. Okay? If you have something like this that you started and now you decide that should have been blue, you can select everything that you've distorted here and simply go to Object, Envelope, Edit the Contents, and now I take my fill, take my eyedropper, and I'll sample this blue that I used. I didn't use this kind of teal color. I used a blue. So I'll click right there. I don't need the outline that was on that, so I'll click the outline and hit the question mark key. There we go. So now we're matching the blues. Object, Envelope, go back to edit your envelope shapes. And that's how you're going to build a text warped poster, an envelope poster. Okay, so again, this was just a demo to kind of show you how to approach this. I'm going to close that. It says do not turn in, so I'm not going to save any of that. And my challenge for you is to create your own envelope poster. So I'll go to File and Open again. On my desktop, I'm going to find my Chapter 8, Folder 8.2, and I've given you 2 posters to choose from. You can either create a warped class poster, or you can create a Janis Joplin poster. Okay, so I'm going to click on number 2, shift click number 3, just to show you the difference between those two. Poster number 2, create a warped class poster. So there's your figure, kind of representing me. You could do this arms crossed, this very casual or really casual. So let's say you like this pose. Just delete the other 2. Notice how I have references up above. The whole idea of a psychedelic 1960s rock poster was 3 main ingredients: a figure, warp type, and simple color. Figure, warp type, 2 or 3 colors. Figure, warp type, 2 or 3 colors. Figures, warp type, 2 or 3 colors. A figure, warp type, there's 2 colors. Okay? It's not very colorful, but it's very fanciful with the warped text. So I have my poster background. Feel free to change this. You know, if you like, let's say this poster over here, click on it, and maybe you just duplicate the colors. Maybe you take your eyedropper, sample the orange, take the figure, take your eyedropper, and sample the purple. Okay, or you sample the blue, the greens, and the gold, or the reds and oranges. It's up to you, but I'm giving you samples to look at. Once you finish your poster background, lock it. You don't want it to move. Once you put your figure in the poster, you can have your figure there. You can go to Free Transform and click the Constrain button, and you can make your figure a lot bigger. Go to your black arrow. You could put the figure down here along the corner. That would be fine too. Okay, you don't have to show the entire figure. Maybe we'll put the elbow right there. So we just show a little bit of the figure. We're going to cut off all of this stuff if that's what you want for your poster. Kind of like what they're doing here with a head and shoulder shot, or a half torso shot. Totally up to you. It's your poster. Then once you have that done, lock it. Okay, you are only going to work on the top layer. That's where all your text is. So we have intro to computer graphics. So I want to do that in 2 lines. Intro to, and then computer graphics. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit D for default colors. Click on my white fill and hit the question mark key. Okay, when it comes to drawing your shapes for your envelopes, you want to draw simplified bent rectangles. Don't just click and drag and kind of scribble on the page like this and do something crazy like that shape. Because if you click on it and you shift click the word, object, envelope, make with top object, and no one will be able to read your poster. So don't do crazy shapes. I'll go to undo, click outside, click on this crazy shape and delete it. Okay, look at the way they deal with type. They're more wavy rectangles. They're bent rectangles. Okay, they're wavy rectangles. This is kind of oversimplified. They're just the same, smaller. These kind of go over and down and then up, and then this one's small and gets big. Okay, play off some more interesting shapes. So if I want the words intro to, maybe I'll make the word intro big. So here is my main clue. I'm going to turn off the poster background for a second just so I can see things a little more clearly. We'll come up to my text, and I'm going to start here. I'm going to click and drag every single anchor point. Okay, click and drag once to go up. Then I'll come over here, and let's go right there. Click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner. I'll click and drag down. Then I'll come down here. Click and drag down. Option or Alt key for a corner. I'll click and drag. And we'll come way down there. Click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner. Click and drag. When I'm ending on a corner, hold Option or Alt key and click and drag. You need these direction lines. Okay, so that's going to say intro. Then I'll come over here and we'll continue that. So I'll go down and up. Option or Alt key for a corner, click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner, click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner, and Option or Alt key to end on a corner. Then I'm going to do 2 more for computer and graphics. So I'll just start right here. We'll click and drag all the way over to there. Make a little arch underneath there. Option for a corner or Alt key on a PC. And we'll click and drag right there. Option or Alt key for a corner. I'll click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner. Option or Alt key to end on a corner. And then I'm going to start right here and go down, up, down. Option or Alt key for a corner. Go right there. Option or Alt key for a corner. We'll kind of arch that right over my head. Click and drag, click and drag. Option or Alt key for a corner. Option or Alt key to end on a corner. And then with my white arrow, I can maybe move this over a little bit. Move that and kind of simplify my shapes and correct them. So now I've got my shapes. I'm not doing the whole poster, okay? Just a little section, these 4 words. I'm going to click on the first shape, shift click the word, object, envelope, make with top object. Okay, not bad, I can read it. I don't like how it's slanting up to the left, but I'm going to fix that in a minute. Click on the next one, shift click, object, envelope, make with top object. Click on the next one, shift click, object, envelope, make with top object. That does not look good, but I'm going to show you how to fix that in a minute. Click on the last one, shift click, object, envelope, make with top object. All right, so now I need to come back in and start correcting things. So I'm going to zoom in on the word intro. And with my white arrow, if I click right on the edge of that box, the reason why these letters slant to the left is because this one is pushing them way to the left. The longer this is, the more it's going to push them. So I might want to pull this back to the right and pull this to the right. And you can see I could stand my letters upward. Okay, click here. I might pull this back down to the left a little bit. Pull this to the left. And now I am making my letters more vertical. Okay, that's what's going to help you to fix your words, is those direction lines. Every time I click and drag, direction lines help you to fix the legibility. Notice how short this one is, and this one's like almost 4 times longer. That's why it's pushing my letters to the left. So I might want to pull this back to the right and pull this way over to the right, and I can stand them up. Click right here. Look how long that one is and how short that one is. So I'll pull this back to the left and push this over to the left. And now I have everything standing upright. Intro to computer graphics. Great. Easy to read. I'll take my zoom tool, option click a couple of times to zoom out. And keep in mind, you can do type on the figure as well. So you could say intro to computer graphics with Chris Nielsen. What do we study? Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Okay, if I want my type to be purple like the figure, kind of like what they did here, they have purple type. All I need to do is select everything, go to Object, Envelope, edit the contents. That's the type inside the envelope. Take my eyedropper, sample the same purple. Now I go to Object, Envelope, edit the envelope, and now I'm back to drawing my shapes. Okay, so now I can turn on my background, see how that's starting to look. And let's say you want a little more flair to your poster. Okay, feel free to add other graphics. So I'm going to move these over a little bit. I'm going to expand my panels. And since this is kind of playing off the whole 1960s psychedelic rock posters, I'm going to go to Symbols, come down to the symbol libraries, and I can come down to flowers, 1960s flower power. I'm going to click on the daisy. Close this, and now I just click and drag a daisy. Maybe fill in that empty space right there. Free transform, constrain, and drag the corner out. Go to my black arrow, we'll move that into place. And if I hold Option or Alt key for a copy, Maybe I put one right here in the O. Okay, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. Feel free to add some artwork to it. Okay, what I would do though is put your artwork on a separate layer. This is not text, but I drew it on text. So I click here, shift click here, and I make a brand new layer. I will call this layer Art Details. This little red anchor point is indicating that I have selected something on the layer. I've selected the two flowers. I press and hold and push it up. And now the flowers are on their own layer. Okay, so I could lock that or turn it off. And let's say I want a little more flair to my poster. So I can select all of this type. I'll just bump it over to the right just a little bit more. Now I hold Option or Alt key for a copy and I push it up and to the left just a little bit. I let go of the mouse first. Now I have a copy of all those words. You can see it right here. I have a copy. Undo that move. And now I go to Object, Envelope, Edit the Contents, and maybe I'll make that type white to really stand out. Object, Envelope, Edit the envelope, and now I pick up where I left off. And now I start doing the other words. Feel free to add anything you want to your poster background, or if your poster background is a rectangle and that rectangle is done, create another brand new layer. If you want to add something new, put it on a new layer, just like our art details are on a new layer. I'll call this background twirl. And I'll set my color to blue. Now I'm just going to hit D for default colors. Click on my pen tool. And I'm going to draw a really long triangle. So right here, I'll start right about here in the middle of my poster. Click, 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 and back to the start. Make a long, simple, pointed triangle like that. Okay, we'll click on that. I'll get rid of the stroke by hitting the question mark key. I'm going to put the tip, right about there in the center of my poster. Now what I do is I click once on the rotate tool, go to the center right there, hold Option or Alt key and click. That will put the rotation right there, like the center of a clock. And I'm going to type in 5 degrees. Let's just see that. Preview. Okay, 5 degrees is a good space apart from each other. So I'm going to make a copy at 5 degrees. Now I've just told the computer, make a copy of an object every 5 degrees. So on my keyboard, I hold my Command key on a Mac. That's your Control key on a PC. And while I hold that key down the whole time, I keep hitting the letter D to duplicate the command. Every 5 degrees, I am making a copy. I'm holding my Command key the whole time, and I'm just hitting D, 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 D. On a PC, I've been holding my Control key the whole time, and I just keep hitting D to keep duplicating a copy every 5 degrees. Like that. Now I can take my black arrow. I'm going to lock all the other layers so I don't accidentally bump into my type. And I'm just going to start out here. I'm going to click and drag over all these lines. So I've touched all the lines. And now what I'm going to do is instead of them radiating from the center of the poster, let's make them radiate from my head, like I'm sending you my brainwave patterns. Okay? All my awesome Adobe tips and tricks. So now I can go to Effect menu, Distort and Transform, and I'm going to twist those lines. I'll keep the preview turned on, and now I'm just going to hold down on the up arrow, and I can start to bend and slowly twist those lines. Okay, we'll go with that. I click OK. I click outside. And that's going to be hard to read when you have white lines right behind white type. So I'm going to select all of those again. I can do that because all my other layers are locked for now. And then I go to my transparency panel. There's stroke, gradient, transparency. And I'm just going to knock down the opacity to maybe 25%. And I get a light option of that background effect right there. Just so it's in there, but it's not messing with the legibility of my type. Okay, so throw in some ideas, throw in some artwork, make it your own poster. Okay, once you are done, you've got all your words in there. Okay, you've put with Chris Nielsen, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Once you have everything done, you unlock everything and you throw away your references. Okay, we don't need those anymore. I need to see your artwork. Once you're done, you take your bottom layer, your poster background, that big orange rectangle. You go to the pop-up on your layers panel and the third option down, duplicate the background. See, now you got another copy. This copy is going to be your clipping mask. You need to drag that all the way to the top, to the thin blue bar, like that. We only want to see what is directly below this rectangle. All this junk outside, we don't want people to see that. That's why we need a mask, only at the very end of your file. So let's say you are totally done. Again, I'm not going to waste your time doing the whole poster. Select everything. Or you can hit Command A on a Mac. That's Control A on a PC. And then you go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And that would be your final poster. Okay, so you have the choice. You can either create a warped class poster, or if you're a little more into music, you can create a Janis Joplin warped poster. So I pretty much have the same things. Same references right there. Same poster background right there. Same figurative element. She can be in the corner, in the middle, bigger, smaller. It's totally up to you. And a final layer for text. Janis Joplin at the Freedom Hall, Louisville, June 12th, 1970. More magical than ever. This is the text based on an actual Janis Joplin concert poster. Okay, let's say you don't want orange and this brown. Okay, maybe you want a magenta background and a light blue figure. Okay, the only difference here now is if I click on this orange and I go to my fill, I'm going to go to my swatches and I'm going to fill that with this magenta right here. Okay, that doesn't change the figure. So here's what you have to do. With your black arrow, this is a group. So I don't want you accidentally tearing the figure apart. Okay, so what you have to do to match this skin color, if you wanted to the same background, you take your white arrow. Click on one of the colors of orange, and then go to Select, Same Fill Color. Find all the different or same oranges. Same. Now I've selected all the oranges on that figure. Take my eyedropper, sample the magenta. So now it kind of matches. If you don't like the brown, take your white arrow, click on a shape of brown, and go to Select, Same Fill Color. Then take your eyedropper and you could sample this color right here. Almost looks like an X-ray. So typically if your color is brighter, you want a darker color here. So maybe we go with, let's see what red looks like. That's a little too subtle. Let's go with the blue here. All right, there we go. Okay, that's how you can colorize and change the colors of the figure. One more time. If you click on your background and you take your eyedropper and sample green, take your white arrow, click on a color, select everything with the same fill color, and now your eyedropper can sample that. So we can easily jump around and kind of mess around with colors. Just like I did here with my text, you can do the same thing with this text. Do it wherever you want. It could say June 12th, 1970, wherever you want the type to go. Just like I created a layer mask, or I'm sorry, a clipping mask. Layer masks are Photoshop. Clipping mask by duplicating my background. You can do the same thing here. You have the same elements. References, a poster background, a figure, and some text. It's just a different figure and different text. You only have to do one of these posters. Either a class poster or a concert poster. I don't care which one you do. But once you are done, you will go to File, Save As, last name, first name, envelope, poster. Both of them. They can be an envelope, poster. On your desktop, as an Illustrator file, and you click OK. Good luck. I really look forward to seeing how you play with envelopes. And as always, have fun. See you next time.